The city of Tshwane says Hammanskraal water problems are getting better after it found no indication of cholera in the water. The city further assured residents that they are no longer at risk of any health complications. After violent protests by local residents previously, the South African Human Rights Commission intervened and found that water in Hamanskraal was unfit for human consumption. Now, to get an update on this matter, I'm joined by Mohamed, the South African Human Rights Commissioner, and Dumizulu Nkwanyane, who is a Hamanskraal resident. Gentlemen, a pleasure to have you both on the program this afternoon. Mr. Ameermia, let me start with you. Now, access to clean running water is a basic human right, and the residents of Hammanskraal have had this right, or not had this right, for a very long time. In your opinion, are the concerns raised by residents taken with the seriousness they deserve by government?
Good afternoon to you and to your listeners. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I just want to categorically say that government is not taking us serious, nor is it taking the concerns of the residents, not only in Hammanskraal but throughout the country, serious. This is a gross violation of human rights in terms of Section 27 of the Bill of Rights, and we are trying to engage with the powers that be, from local government, provincial government, national government, but it seems we are hitting, there's very slow progress. But unfortunately, what is happening in that slow progress is that effectively the people on the ground are suffering. So, the Human Rights Commission, basically within its mandates, in terms of the Human Rights Commission Act, is now basically saying to government, enough is enough, and unless you give us a concrete plan of action, we are definitely going to take further and more serious steps, because it is not fair. It is not fair on poor and vulnerable people to be going through what they're going through, not only in Hammanskraal but throughout the country as well. Right now, as we talk, I'm getting feedback from the whole country, where basically even the established towns, aside from the villages that didn't get water for the past many years, even the towns are now basically subject to what we call water tankering, and that is now becoming a norm, and it is totally unacceptable. It's a gross violation of human rights. I must be very categorical about it, and the Human Rights Commission is basically now saying to government, enough is enough. We want tangible plans for you to make sure that it happens.
Babu Dumizulu, let me extend the same question to you. Do you think that government takes your issues seriously in Hammanskraal?
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm struggling with my audio. But if you can hear me, maybe give it tonight.
Well, I can hear you clearly, sir. So basically what I'm asking you is, just take us through some of the problems that the community of Hammanskraal have been facing. And do you think that government has responded accordingly or properly?
I didn't get your question, sir. But what I can say to you is that we don't think that the government is taking the full of Hammanskraal because we have been facing the same problem for the past 15 years or so, sir. And we have done everything that we thought was right for us, which is to protest, which is to go to relevant stakeholders, raise our concerns. But we can say on a day-to-day basis, the people of Hammanskraal continue to struggle fighting for drinking water, of which, like Mr. Mohamed has alluded to say, it is a violation of human rights. So we feel like as a people of Hammanskraal, our rights are being violated.
Mr. Ameermia, just give us some context here as to how far the problems facing Hammanskraal date back to. Just when did they start and where are we at right now? We've had the city of Tshwane saying that they found no cholera in the water in the area. Is this accurate?
Oh, sorry. I think Mr. Dumizulu wants to go ahead.
No, I'm posing a question.
So I couldn't figure where the question was based to.
All right. Well, the question is pointed at Mr. Ameermia, just to give us some context here in as far as how far the problems in Hammanskraal date back to.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So let me say to you, one is that we've been following this from 2018, and we've been to the portfolio committee as well on this particular issue. the city of Tshwane challenged the people of Hammanskraal to say that the water is clean when the water was filthy. It was not fit for human consumption. They then commissioned the HSRC at the price of 150,000 rand to prove that the water was filthy and it was not fit for human consumption. That basically came out also in the portfolio committee that, people who haven't got money to buy bread must fork out 150,000 rand from their pockets to pay for a report to assure the municipality that the water is clean. Whereas when the municipality ought to be telling the people that the water is clean, and they've got the budget to do quality assurance in terms of getting clean water over. Let me just start off by saying the following. What we have done is, so we basically went to Hammanskraal, we met with communities, and this is where we discovered the problem. We walked the journey with them, and what exacerbates this whole thing further is the fact that the city of Tshwane now is doing remediation work. Now, obviously, that remediation work, we are told, is only going to be completed in 2023. Now, my question arises, what's going to happen from now until 2023 against the benchmark against COVID-19, the impact of COVID-19 on the lives of poor and vulnerable people? People who are, and there's continuous disruptions in communities by the community business forums, and so what we are saying is even the water tankers that are going there are basically not enough to supply the people of Hammanskraal with sufficient clean running water. And that is our problem. It's not water only, but it's clean running water. That's what the Constitution demands that the state ought to be providing. It's a progressive right, but obviously the state has a budget to do operations and maintenance. It has money to do capital projects to fix up the problem in itself. We're not getting any kind of feedback from the state to show us exactly what they're doing. It's just empty promises and pie crust, and the people on the ground are basically really, really suffering out there. Now, we as a Human Rights Commission, obviously we understand that socio-economic rights and the right to water is a progressive realization of a right, which means that, there has to be finances that have to be budgeted for and so forth and so forth. But the point now is even the existing infrastructure that's there is now broken, it's not working. And equally so, what we're saying now is that even the number of tankers that are going into the spaces in Hammanskraal are not enough. And even those that go there, they go infrequently. And when they supply the water that is not of a quality control that human beings can drink. So I'm sorry, I'm afraid I have to speak truth to power. And this is where the Human Rights Commission will use its constitutional leveraging powers to basically kick dust and to make sure that, even poor people have a right to dignity. Their dignity is priceless and it will never be compromised. The Human Rights Commission is going to take hands with the people of Hammanskraal, and we're going to monitor what the state is going to do. Now, unfortunately, at the moment with Tshwane, they'll play the blaming game between the one political party and the other political party and administration. That has got nothing to do with what we are saying. Our role in the Human Rights Commission is to do a monitoring mandate. Our monitoring mandate is to protect and advance human rights and monitor the progressive realization of the rights to clean running water that human beings can live with. This, unfortunately, is not happening here, and we are very, very worried.
Yeah,
I think we're just hearing enough explanations, but we're not getting tangible results, and that's the worry for the Human Rights Commission.
Mr. Nkwanyane, let me bring you back into this conversation, and I hope you can hear me clearly. Now, the city of Tshwane says that Hamanskraal water problems are getting better after it found no indication of cholera in this water. Are they misleading us here? Because, you are on the ground and are living in this community and you know exactly what is happening there.
I continue having audio problems, but I get the question. The problem remains. We do have running water on our taps, but the problem is the water is unconsumable. There is no way in which one can go to the tap and run the water and drink the water. So we have to, resort to getting water from these water tankers, and these water tankers are not reliable. Sometimes they don't come, sometimes they come. You can imagine those who those who have to take their medication. So if the water tankers don't come, they are resorted to using the same water that they get from the tap. So, like Mr. Mohamed has said, our human rights are being violated there. We've been taken from pillar to post. You can remember this program goes as far as 2011 when Stock Sanitary took over from Mahali. When Mahali's contract ended, Stock took over from them. That's when the problem became worse. And maybe I can come back and say our hopes have been lying with the Human Rights Commission. They came here, I think, 2018, 2019. They said we were going to run a commission of inquiry to inquire on what went wrong. The people of Hammanskraal are still waiting for the Human Rights Commission to come back and tell us that the commission is ready. A meeting will be convened to say we can be told what's wrong, but the problem remains. We don't have things to do it.
All right. Mr. Ameermia, before we wrap up, I just want to find out what steps are you going to be taking next to ensure that the people of Hammanskraal eventually get safe drinking water?
Sorry, I didn't get that. There's a lot of echo in the background, so I didn't get your question. Can you just repeat that, please?
So what I'm asking you is what steps are you going to be taking going forward regarding the matter involving the water supply in Hammanskraal and the residents, the concerns that are being raised by residents?
Okay, so our plan of action as a Human Rights Commission is basically we are saying that there's only 15 water tankers to supply water to the community of Hammanskraal, which is totally it's totally unacceptable, one. Number two, what we're going to do through our provincial office in the Gauteng province, my provincial manager, Mr. Boang Jones, and his team are now doing a plan of action where they're going to basically take on the Nkwanyane municipality on a number of issues more thoroughly in 2021 on urgent concerns of community members of Hammanskraal in relation to the delivery of water trucks over the December, the quantity of the trucks, the quality of the water that is going to be delivered via these trucks as well. But you see, my problem here is it is becoming a norm to supply water in trucks, which is unacceptable, you see, because everybody has to get clean running water through a tap, clean potable running water. That's in terms of the United Nations rules of engagement. It is in line with the Constitution, the National Development Plan. So what we're seeing here is basically an abnormality, which is becoming a norm in government. The municipalities at the moment are in crisis, right? The AG has basically...
Well, Mohamed, unfortunately, I have to cut our conversation short because of time. But to you, both gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.